video, we're going to look at lesson 8.5, which looks at the natural number e and natural logs. And don't get hung up on what is e, what are natural logs, because the previous lessons where we've looked at log of a base, you have a number equals a power, that is even the foundation for natural logs. So we're still going to hold to that definition, that question, what power of blank gives me blank? That is how natural logs work. So what is E? Well, first, we're going to make sure you know E is an irrational number, just like pi on it. So it's an irrational number. It is referred to as the natural number. It deals with continuous growth and continuous decay. Now, the value of E, well, it's irrational, so it's going to go on forever, much like pi, but it's about 2.71828. You have 1/8, and then you got a 2/8, and you got a 4/5, and you got a 9, then a 0, then a 4, and then a 5, and then a 2, and just it keeps going. That is E. It's an irrational number just like pi. There's no pattern to it. It just keeps going and going and going on it. Now, where is it located on our calculator? We pull up our calculator on it, and so we have our calculator. We saw before that log is located right next to 7. Right below it, you see ln. And above the ln in blue is e to the x. So if I hit second ln, that is going to put e to a power on my calculator for it. So if I want to know what is e, I'm going to do e to the first power, and I could just hit enter, 2.718281828, and dot dot dot. It doesn't have a pattern, it goes on forever. So where is it located? It's located second ln on our calculators for it. So we have second ln. So that's where we're going to use e. So let's just first practice it a little bit. We have e to the 8th, we have e squared. I'll do those two first. So I have my calculator, and I have e, so I'm going to hit second ln, the 8th power. Now let's round to 4 decimal places like we've been doing. So e to the 8th is approximately 2,980.95. Now it's 798. So I gotta look at the 5th one. That's gonna round this up to 80 on it. So I have to look at the 5th number. It rounds that 9 up, so the 79 becomes an 80 at the end. If I want e squared, second ln, e squared. This one's not going to be as bad when it comes to rounding. It's approximately 7.389. Well, it's 0.5, so then that's going to round that up to a 1 for it. And so let's look at 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is e to the 1/2. So if I have a fraction exponent, let's see, e, I just do 1 divided by 2 on it. Now mine does this superscript for it. If yours doesn't do the superscript, when you have more than one number, you're going to want to put it in a parentheses, 1 divided by 2. So your calculator, I'll write over here, or you go e and have this caret next to it. Now if it has this exponent caret next to it, you're going to do 1 divided by 2 in a parentheses. If I hit enter, I'm going to get approximately 1.64. Now it's 872, so that is going to be 87. I can even put a number in front, a 5 in front, a second ln, and type in my -3. So I can even add coefficients to it. When I do that, I'm going to get it. It's approximately 0.248. Now it's 93, so that's going to be 9. So the first 4 problems in the notes are just meant to make sure you know where to find the power E on your calculator. Now the next part is where we go into just the meat of the lesson is how do you deal with natural logs? And this is where I'm saying do not get hung up on it. Always remember our question. What power of blank gives you blank? That is the definition of a logarithm. And that is what we talked about right up here in the beginning. Now I'm going to go back to the color coding that I did in the previous videos on it. When I ask this, it's what power of blank, my base, gives me some number. And that log equals our power. So I'm using the same color coding we've done before. That's the question. Left to right. What power of blank gives me blank? And that's how we read logarithms. So even though it's E, you need to remember E is a number. It is an irrational number, 2.7182818284559. It's a number. You've dealt with numbers to powers before. This setup is no different than, hey, what if I did 5x equals 24? It's the same thing. I'm going to convert it using my question. E is my base. X is my power. 24 is my number. So I can convert it using the same definition we've always used before. I'm going to write down log. Now in this case, my base is E. We used to put a number there. Now it's just the letter E. So log base E, what power of E gives me 24? And that power, it says, is X. There's your conversion. That is the way we've done it in all the previous videos on it. That's your conversion. And we're going to realize that we can do this for all of them. So I can use this base to power equals my number repeatedly. Now in this case, I use 24 here. I'm going to use n for my number. So in this case, same idea. Boom, boom, boom. And I'll duplicate it, slide it over. All right, so can we convert this one to just plain old log? Let's see. What's my base? Hey, what power of my base is E gives me 40? That's what that question is telling me. What power of E gives me 40? And it's telling me that power is X. Done. I converted to logarithms. We can do the same thing. We can take our definition. We can take our question. What power blank gives me blank on it? And so in this case, what power, that's log, of E gives me 18. I want to know what is that power, and it tells me that power is X. That is converting to logarithms, but there's a problem. It's not asking us to convert to logarithms. It's asking us to convert to natural logarithms. And natural logarithms are of the form ln, and that's what freaks people out. And that's what this is right here. This is ln. Rather than using 3 letters, we use 2. But what you wrote down is natural logs. And that's what I want you to understand. It is the same process. We're just using shorthand. Now, we've already answered what is E. We've said E is approximately 2.7182818, goes on, put it down here, boom. Now, what natural log is? Shorthand. That's all it is. We're used to writing log of a base. I mean, look at this, log base E, log base E, log base E. We're used to writing log of a base, and it gets irritating in mathematics to write tons of letters and numbers down. And so in math, what we did is we shortened 4 letters into 2 letters. We replace log base E with just ln. So when I see log base E, I can replace it with ln. And it's going to allow me to use one button in my calculator for it. And so really, I take a look. We're not done yet. I can change log base e. I can change it to ln. So really, this reads ln of 24 equals x. All I did is replaced 4 letters with 2. Shorthand. That's it. Didn't do any mathematical concepts, didn't do anything special. I just replace 4 letters. When I see log base e, I replace them with 2 letters. So log base e of 40 equals x is really natural log ln of 40 equals x. No math, just shorthand. I see log base e. Well, that's 4 letters. That's annoying. I only want to write down 2. So ln of 18 equals x. And so that is all natural log is. It's log base e. And we replace those 4 letters, L-O-G-E, with 2 letters, ln. And what allows us to do is, we're not quite done yet. Let me put the 4 part there. We have to now solve. It says here, now solve using these. Well, this is actually not that bad because we have a calculator. And our calculator has an ln button right here. So if I type in ln 24 and hit enter, I now see what x is. It's approximately 3.17805. So x is approximately 3.1781 from rounding. I can type in the natural log of 40, ln 40. 3.688879. So x is approximately 3.6689. I can type in the natural log of 18, ln of 18, and enter. 2.89037. So that's going to round. X is approximately 2.8904. So we're going to convert the same way we've done it before, except for when I'm doing logs. I'm doing my question. Hey, what power of blank gives me blank? Log base of a number equals a power. I'm going to replace LOGE with LN because we want to be lazy and use numbers rather than 2 letters rather than 4 letters. That's it. Now, this is the only blank we haven't answered yet, is ln of e. What does that equal? And luckily, I have a calculator on it. So ln of e is second. Well, I'm sorry, just ln first. And then I'm going to hit second ln. The problem is it needs a power if I use that. And so e is really e to the first power. So what is the natural log of e on it? And if I do that, it's 1. The natural log of e, ln, I can even do second divide. The natural log of e is 1. And that should, if we just take a moment and not get hung up on the fact that it's this ln, log base e of e equals some power. So let's ask our question. What power of e gives me e? No, it's 1. You just need to realize this tells you ln and e are inverses of each other. That is the property of natural log and e, is they're inverses for it. But what I want you to realize is converting is not different than what we did. We are always going to use our question, what power of blank does blank? We are always going to use with logarithms this right here, log of a base, some number equals a power, and we're going to change. Even our properties of logs, notice I have natural in parentheses, they don't change on it because my base is E, and we're going to be lazy. We don't want to write 4 letters down. We only want to write 2 letters down. So if I am adding, so if I look over on the right side, if I am adding 2 logs, we know that means it's our product rule. You're going to multiply to merge them. Well, if I am adding 2 natural logs, I still merge by multiplying them. It does not change. Our properties of logarithms are exactly the same. If we can do it with logs, base 2, base 3, base 4, base 5, base 10, base 12, if we can do it with logs, then we can do it with natural logs. So the quotient rule for logs said that if I am subtracting 2 logs, I merge them together by division. And it's the same when it comes to natural logs. Even our power rule, we'd have log base E. We don't want to write 4 letters. We only want to write 2 because we're lazy. And so when we had a power, what we learned is we can take that power and we could bring it down in front. And that's what we did over here. We took that power and we brought it down. It's just now we're replacing 4 letters, log base E, with 2 letters, ln. The rules are the exact same. Product rule, quotient rule, power rule. You just use them with ln's because ln's are shorthand for log base E. So when you see this, don't get hung up on, oh my goodness, what is ln? What is ln? This right here, and I'll only do it for this problem. This right here is the same as saying this. It is the same as saying log base E of x plus 3 plus log base E of 8. It's the same problem. It's just instead of writing these 4 letters, we choose to write these 2. Instead of writing these 4 letters, we choose to write these 2. That's it. So when we are adding 2 logs together, whether it's ln or log base E, you always look at this. I am adding, which means I am dealing with my product rule. So I am going to merge these 2 logs together by taking the product of my numbers. I'm going to take x plus 3 and 8, and I'm going to multiply them together. And so that's going to give me ln. We will use the color coding. So that's going to give me ln, and I will distribute of 8x plus 24. It is your your product rule for this one. Now, the second one, I am subtracting 2 logs. Who cares that it's ln? It's really log base E. They're still logs. So that means I am subtracting. So that's my quotient rule. So when I want to merge these together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide my terms. So I'm going to take 7x minus 18 and I'm going to divide by 15. That's it. That right there is the merging together. It's just your product rule. Actually, short. It's less writing. I write 2 letters instead of 4 letters. And this one is your power rule. So we can see I have this power here, and we can't have that. So what we're going to do is we are going to take that 4th power, and we are going to bring it down in front. So it's going to be 4 times the natural log of 5x. And so those are your properties of logs. So this video just deals with part 1. This video goes through lesson 8.5 part 1, which is really trying to get you to understand ln. ln is one word shorthand. It replaces 4 letters with 2. But the idea of converting is still your question. What power of blank gives you blank? When you're dealing with natural logs, your base is always E. And so what power of E gives you blank is your question every time you are dealing with natural logs. on it. So I'm trying to get us to go through and see log base E is going to change. So this is the part 1 video. If you have any questions, please reach out.